Hi, Dave Jeck here, Superintendent of Fauquier County Public Schools with another edition of One Hard Question. This week's hard question comes from Summer, and it is about calendar. And here's the question. Dr. Jeck, the 2015-16 approved calendar is in the second year of a calendar in which the first semester or first term ends prior to winter break. What is the consensus of this calendar by school administration, teachers, and the school board? Should we anticipate a continuation of this calendar? Is there consideration for starting any earlier or starting any later? Will feedback from parents be solicited in regards to the 16-17 school calendar? Thanks, Summer. Good question. Well, people in Fauquier are very passionate about their calendar, which I understand completely. I'll start at the end of your question and move backwards. Will folks have an opportunity to weigh in? Yes. We're in the midst, actually, of conducting a survey, and we're surveying stakeholders as far as their opinion about the calendar and what their preferences are, etc. So we're in the midst of that now. The hope is to get the calendar approved by January. That's the hope, that we're able to do it that soon. Next, is there consideration for starting any earlier or starting any later? There's not really consideration for starting any earlier. The school board has gone on record as saying that they really don't support starting any earlier than the third week in August, which is what we've done the last few years. And I support that. I think that's reasonable. But in order to do that, in order to end the first semester by winter break, which is what the goal of this calendar was or is, we've got to start no later than the third week in August. So that's why we end up with a sort of an unbalanced calendar where first semester is 85 days this year and second semester is 95 days. Actually, it was that way last year too. But last year was interesting because we had an 85-day first term and 95-day second term. But after we factored in snow days, it actually ended up being 85 days first term, 87 days second term. So they actually were balanced. But what we saw with even an unbalanced calendar like this is student achievement levels rose significantly, and that's awesome. And I think there's a reasonable explanation for that. I think it has to do with the fact that students, when they end first semester by holiday break, it's almost it's a stress reliever. They don't have to worry about testing, for example. I'm talking about high school and some middle school students now. They don't have to worry about testing second term, soil testing or exams, and then they don't have to worry about coming back from holiday break and having to prep for exams or soil test, because teachers will review students in those situations. So that's the answer there. And what is the consensus of the calendar by school administration, teachers, and school board? Well, administrators like it. I like it. The school board likes the calendar. Teachers, I know we surveyed a representative group of like 80 or 90 teachers last year. Dr. Mitchell did this work, and there was overwhelming support for this calendar model. So I suspect that this model will continue. At least I hope it will, because I think it's a good model. And it's different. We're the only, as I mentioned, we're the only school division that I'm aware of in the state of Virginia that does this kind of thing. But boy, it's working for us. So I don't expect that it will change, but you never know. As far as, are there folks that want to start later? Yeah, I hear from those folks. There are folks who are, they would like to see us start after Labor Day. They have their reasons. Okay, I just don't happen to agree with them. My reasons or rationale for supporting a pre-Labor Day opening are almost exclusively have to do with student achievement, student health, like academic health, I mean. So I'm very supportive of starting prior to Labor Day. That's just my opinion. And we get out, the other piece, the last piece I'd mention is, we get out right now, end of May, 1st of June, and I just think there's something about June, and this is as 26 years as a high school teacher, administrator, etc. There's something about the word June that when kids hear it, it changes, I think, their learning dynamic. And I think there is something to be said. There's probably a dissertation study out there somewhere for someone who wanted to look into this. But ending by June, I think is healthy. I just think that kids, they get to June and they oftentimes are sort of checking out especially after testing's concluded. So anyway, that's my soapbox. But I hope I've answered your question. I appreciate the questions coming in, and please keep them coming. Thanks.